Today, there are 2 million descendants of French-Canadian immigrants living in New England. These are our stories. Welcome to the French-Canadian Legacy Podcast.
Venez tous jeunes filles et garçons, je vais vous raconter l'histoire de notre immigration ici au USA, de grands aventuriers, de pays étrangers.
This is the French-Canadian Legacy News. I am Jesse Martineau, and it's great to be back. It's been a long time since I have said that phrase as the host of this news segment. And so Mike and I are really excited to bring you another season of the French-Canadian Legacy Podcast. We get some really fun, really exciting guests who I think you guys are going to definitely enjoy listening to. Also, there's been a ton happening recently in the Franco-American world, and that's a big reason why I started this news segment. I was frequently told growing up that the Franco-American presence was basically dead, and I think all this activity very much shows that that is not the case. And while I would like to highlight a lot of it, that would mean this would be a 6-hour podcast. So a couple of things that really did catch my attention. I would like to start by mentioning a couple of new novels that are out, written by some absolute New Hampshire legends. The first is by guest of the podcast, Robert Perrault. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Robert Perrault fan. I go and see him speak every time I have the opportunity to. His new book is it's a novel called Courtship in Purgatory. Set in 1949, this book it's actually the story of a woman kind of trying to pursue a relationship and some of the roadblocks and challenges that are put in place for what would be a couple. This book takes place in a fictional town, but I think readers will absolutely recognize many of the themes from Franco-American mill towns. The second novel I would like to talk about is by a giant in New Hampshire journalism, Laura Conoy. Based on a true story, Laura's novel, The Shopkeeper of Alsace, tells the story of a remarkable woman who tried to keep her family and her business together in a life spanning 2 world wars. And Laura actually has a number of upcoming book events throughout New Hampshire if you haven't had a chance to check out any of her events so far. You can catch her on January 17th on the Keene Public Library, January 24th at the Exeter Public Library, on January 25th at the Nashua Public Library. And I was actually super honored to host an event for both Robert and Laura's books at St. Anselm College. It was an incredible night. The place was completely packed, and there were just a ton of people buying books. It was a super, super fun event, and I was very glad it came off really well because those 2 books are incredible. Like I said, a couple of legends in New Hampshire to both come out with novels at the same time. It was very, very fun. And obviously, there's a French theme to both of them. Laura's book is set in Alsace in France. There's a region she's very, very familiar with. And Robert Perrault's book is absolutely loaded. Said place in 1949. Book is absolutely loaded with different themes and just aspects of life in locations that people, if you are familiar with the Franco-American story in mill towns in New England, will be super, super familiar to you. So I would highly recommend checking out those. Also, in other news, the Quebec government office in Boston has partnered with local Boston arts organizations to bring you the Winteractive public art exhibition. And now this is a super fun project. Basically just public art that pops up throughout the Boston area, spearheaded by the Quebec office in Boston. They've done this for a few years now, and so they're coming back with it again, which is really, really cool. It's a great way, I think, to remind people of all the public art you see in Quebec. This is something that I honestly had no idea about at all until I lived in Quebec, and I would see new public art come up all the time. And just new random public art installations in places where, the day before there hadn't been one, or there had been something different, and just happened regularly up in Quebec. They invest in public art, which is one of the many reasons why living in Quebec City was incredible. And for those who can read French, let me highlight Patrick Lacroix's got a new post on his terrific Query the Past blog. And this blog post highlights a fascinating story. French Canadians who fought with the colonial army in the American Revolution and then settled in the state of New York along the shores of Lake Champlain. Now, this is talk about an early, probably the first ever Little Canada. We talk about the Petit Canadas that pop up in all the, the mill towns throughout New England. This is kind of the first one. And so to tell their story is something that I was not familiar with before this blog post. And it's obviously something I'm super, super fascinated by. So really good blog post, as always, by Patrick Lacroix. The work he does, Query the Past blog is incredible. There's going to be a ton of stuff, unfortunately, that I'm missing here, but I do want to wrap up this news segment by noting that our friends down in New Orleans at the Nous Foundation have selected as their theme of this season, l'Amérique selon la Louisiane. Louisiana's America. Real interesting theme. And the friends down at Nous, they always do amazing things. You just go to their website and see all the various projects they have going on all the time. It is incredible what they have been able to do down there in Louisiana. We're very fortunate to have them as guests of the podcast. One day, Mike and I could take a road trip, or probably more likely fly down to New Orleans to visit them, because it'd just be incredible to see all that they have been able to just put together from scratch and what they have done for the cultures, the Francophone cultures of Louisiana down there. It's just amazing. But anyway, they have a new theme for this season, and it celebrates the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence by examining Louisiana's unique cultures influenced the American story, which is very, very cool to think about. And as far as moving on to the upcoming episode, it's awesome that we are highlighting the terrific documentary Notre Rêve, américain. It was an amazing privilege to be part of this awesome this documentary. One of the coolest things that's happened to me since I've had the opportunity to host this podcast. And putting this preview together, I actually realized for the first time that I now have an IMDb page, which is kind of fun. And I had the opportunity to speak with Jean-Michel Dufaux, who co-hosted the documentary along with well-known Quebecois rapper Biz. Jean-Michel, super interesting individual, travels all over the world. Super fascinating guy. Really, really fun to connect with him. Talk about kind of some of his work and really talk about this Notre Rêve américain project, what it is, where the idea came from. I think you guys will enjoy the discussion, because we like to do a bonus question that has nothing to do with whatever we talked about. And I have to ask, considering where you're from and who you're talking to and your background of being a hockey guy, what's your honest opinion of the Boston Bruins?
You're putting me on the spot.
How about that?
When I was a kid, I hated the Bruins and the Flyers. I hated them.
Fair enough. I'm with you on the Flyers. Yeah.
These are the two, and also the Leafs, the Toronto Leafs. These are my three most despised team.
Sure.
But actually, more and more, like, I totally respect the Bruins because they have a real hockey culture. It's a hockey town. It's a sports town. I love Boston. So I kind of learned to, and they have an identity, and they had really good years. They had the cup in 2011. So I hate them less than I used to hate them. I told you that, I'm open heart.
Well, I'm hoping the fact that the face of the franchise for, 15 years or so was from Quebec City.
Exactly.
Made life a little bit easier for.
Exactly. And before that, Raymond Bourque also. I mean,
absolutely.
Raymond Bourque and Patrice Bergeron, and before that, Jean Rattel and Gilles Gilbert. And there's been a lot of and it's a fun rivalry. For me, it's a cool rivalry, and it's all good. It's all good.
I have never been to a game in Montreal, and that's going to have to change.
But this is next year. You have to come. We'll organize that, because
I would love that.
It's crazy. It's the hockey mecca in the world. I say it's crazy.
Yeah, my dad and I went up to watch. There was a preseason game at Quebec City. The Bruins played the Kings, and we went up for that. But we're going to have to go up to catch a regular season game in Montreal.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, sir. This has been awesome.
Thank you, Jesse. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Now our fathers look at us and sigh with despair, to think that everything they love we simply do not share. But the spirit never dies, our culture will survive. Each of us must choose how much to keep alive. Each of us must choose how much to keep alive.
Special thanks to Josie Vachon for providing the music. You can find more about her at josievachon.com. This podcast was produced and edited by Mike Campbell. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at fclpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at FCL Podcast for more information about the topics discussed. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this episode.